I can't believe this. You were, I'm just laughing at this. You were a phone sex operator at the age of 15.
That's correct. That's correct.
How did that go, and how did that start?
Well, I had a friend who unfortunately is no longer with us, but sometimes you'll have a bad friend who will make you do things that you shouldn't be doing. Like I always had her. She always taught me how to smoke cigarettes and stuff like that. Like she was my bad friend. And so she got us this job where we were going to work for this phone sex line, but then we were better at recording messages than we were at talking to patrons. So we got moved to the recording booth, and we would record these short messages that were phone sex line like monologues, but
like
they
what?
were simple English, like, my name is Mary. I have blonde hair and blue eyes. I am 5'5" tall. I weigh 120 pounds. I am very sexy and I have a large breast. So they would assist people to learn English, but also who didn't have, an interest in going to an ESL class, or they wanted to learn by practicing phone sex. So they would call our line and pay $1 a minute or however long, and they would learn that way.
What was your parents' bookstore like?
It was a gay bookstore that had a lot of art books. It had a lot of gay romance novels, and we would have book signings by authors like Armistead Maupin, who wrote Tales of the City.
Sure.
And things like that. So it was a very, it was like City Lights, the very famous beatnik bookstore, but geared towards gay life. And I grew up there and I worked there, and, it was a really, really special place to be.
How do you overcome, and Connie writes this in her book, where she was molested by a family doctor, and you were raped by family members.
When you come from that, it's really, it does affect your whole life. And so you have to work on it. I've had a lot of therapy, and I've had a lot of different kinds of therapy, actually, working on it. And you never really get over it, but you're able to leave it behind. We can sort of package it up and leave it in a place in our lives, and then maybe return to it if we need something there. But that's the thing with trauma and dealing with it properly. There's ways to diffuse it and dispose of it, but that never fully leaves your life. I think that in a way, therapy has helped me kind of compartmentalize it in a proper structure that helps me and can help others if I, need to discuss it and want to reach out to somebody who's also enduring that kind of trauma. But it affects you your whole life.
Especially, I assume, if it's in the headlines somewhere of some story.
Yeah, well, that doesn't bother me as much because it's like I brought the story forward, and I actually don't mind talking about it, because that's also part of my healing is to be able to go back and refer to it. Like when you do enough work on yourself emotionally, it doesn't give you the same charge to go back and revisit these traumatic events. So that is the privacy element of it is not as difficult as just the fact that it exists. That it exists is more like, I wonder what my life would have been like if that hadn't have happened. There would have been other trauma or something else, but that is a very specific thing.
Welcome to On Par with Maury Povich. Welcome to On Par with Maury Povich.